Sister Wives fans are amazed at how active Christine Brown and David Woolley are during their marriage. When Christine was part of Kody Brown's polygamist family, they rarely traveled, and when they did, they seldom ventured far from home. In a recent Instagram post, Christine revealed she and David visited an entirely different country together. Interestingly enough, it was a place the TLC star's family visited often when she was a child. Read on to get the scoop and see what Christine shared. Christine Brown and David Woolley both spent time in Mexico as kids. Sister Wives fans know that Christine Brown Woolley was born and raised in polygamy. She is even related to the infamous Liberon branch of Mormon fundamentalism. The Liberon family founded Colonia Liberon in Chihuahua, Mexico in the 1950s. The site remains a popular gathering site for many descendants of the family, including Christine. She and David Woolley decided it was a perfect place to vacation and bask in her childhood memories. Interestingly enough, David spent time there too in his youth. Exploring Colonia Liberon was a trip down memory lane for both of us. Christine captioned an Instagram video of herself and David exploring the area. He used to visit with his family, and my mom's biological father lived there. Our paths almost crossed so many times. I even attended a few weddings there, and guess who else was at one of them? And no, we're not related. Life works in mysterious ways. Instagram users truly appreciated seeing Christine and David enjoy themselves in sunny Mexico. They left comments including, "Isn't it nice to express your affection anytime and where you want and feel it reciprocated? I don't know how any of you women lived without it. It's heartbreaking. Christine, it is so wonderful to see your joy in your marriage. Hooray! Wow, that's crazy to think that you guys attended the same wedding. We live in a small world. This just gives me all the feels. Truly joyful for you. Fans can't wait to see their chemistry on screen. Sister Wives Season 19 will be out sometime this fall. And when the premiere day comes, fans are excited to see David and Christine's romance on camera. Perhaps a trip to Mexico will even make it into the season. What did you think about Christine and David Woolley's latest adventure? Were you surprised to learn they both spent time at Colonia Liberon in their younger years? Leave your own thoughts and opinions in the comments. Follow TV shows Ace online to keep up with Christine, David, and the rest of the Sister Wives cast. Christine Brown and David Woolley strolled hand in hand through the arid landscapes of Colonia Liberon, their eyes filled with wonder as they revisited the place that connected their pasts in such an unexpected way. The sun shone brightly overhead, casting long shadows behind them, while the dry desert air filled their lungs. It was a nostalgic trip, one filled with memories that transcended both of their childhoods. Christine had spent so many of her early years in this region, attending family gatherings and weddings, while David had visited with his own family, completely unaware that their paths had almost crossed more than once. For Christine, Colonia Liberon was more than just a place, it was a touchstone to her complex upbringing. Born into the Brown family, she was raised in a polygamous household that adhered to strict principles. Her roots, inextricably linked to the Liberon family, had bound her to this Mexican settlement that had been established by Mormon fundamentalists in the 1950s. As a child, Christine had traveled to Colonia Liberon for family events, weddings, and ceremonies that seemed more about obligation than joy. But now, revisiting this place with David at her side, the area took on a new meaning. It was as though the dusty streets and aging buildings had transformed from symbols of a difficult past to markers of a brighter future. David had similar feelings. As a child, he had visited Colonia Liberon with his family, not realizing that one day, decades later, he would walk those same roads with Christine, his new wife, by his side. "It's crazy to think," David said, breaking the silence between them, "that we could have crossed paths so many times back then, but didn't." He chuckled. Life really does work in mysterious ways. Christine smiled, squeezing his hand. Yeah, it's wild. I even went to a few weddings here, and guess who else was at one of them? She teased, nudging him with her shoulder. David laughed. No way. Yes way, but don't worry, she added, laughing with him. We're definitely not related. I double-checked. They shared a knowing look, and for a moment, the weight of the past lifted as they both reveled in the idea that destiny had its own timeline. The couple had been sharing their journey on Instagram, where Sister Wives fans eagerly followed every moment of their blossoming relationship. In a recent post, Christine had uploaded a video of the two of them walking through Colonia Liberon, smiling as they explored the place that held so many childhood memories for both of them. Exploring Colonia Liberon was a trip down memory lane for both of us. He used to visit with his family, and my mom's biological father lived there, Christine had captioned the video. Our paths almost crossed so many times. I even attended a few weddings there, and guess who else was at one of them? And no, we're not related. Life works in mysterious ways. The response from fans had been overwhelmingly positive. Comments flooded in from followers who were genuinely happy to see Christine thriving in her new marriage. After so many years in a polygamous relationship with Kody Brown, during which she rarely traveled and often felt constrained, Christine's newfound freedom and joy with David was evident in every post. Fans couldn't help but comment on how much lighter, happier, and more fulfilled she seemed now. Isn't it nice to express your affection anytime and where you want and feel it reciprocated? I don't know how any of you women lived without it. It's heartbreaking, one fan wrote. Another commented, Christine, it is so wonderful to see your joy in your marriage. Hooray! The chemistry between Christine and David was palpable, both online and off. Fans were eagerly awaiting the premiere of Sister Wives Season 19, where they hoped to see more of the couple's romance on screen. Rumors were already swirling that their trip to Mexico might even make an appearance in the upcoming season, giving viewers a glimpse of the happiness and peace Christine had found with David. As Christine and David continued to explore Colonia Liberon, they made their way to a small shaded area where Christine remembered attending a cousin's wedding many years ago. The space was largely unchanged, though the wooden benches looked older, the paint more faded. Yet in her mind, Christine could still see the brightly colored dresses, the sound of laughter, and the feeling of being part of something bigger than herself, even if that something had no longer resonated with her as an adult. I remember sitting right here, Christine said softly, pointing to one of the benches. I was so young, I didn't know then what my life would become, what choices I'd have to make. But I always knew I wanted something more, something different. David nodded, understanding the subtext of her words. Christine had spent years in a plural marriage that had left her feeling unfulfilled, undervalued, and isolated. It wasn't until she made the brave decision to leave Kody that she found her true self again, and eventually she found David. Well, you found your something different, David said, pulling her close. And I'm glad I found you. Christine rested her head on his shoulder, taking in the moment. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly at peace. The weight of her past no longer burdened her. Colonia Liberon, once a place that symbolized the confines of her upbringing, now stood as a testament to how far she had come. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the desert landscape, Christine and David walked back toward their rental car. They had plans to visit other areas nearby, but for Christine, this trip to Colonia Liberon was the most important. It was a closure of sorts, a chapter of her life that she had finally rewritten. And with David by her side, she knew that the next chapter would be filled with love, adventure, and the freedom to live life on her own terms. Christine posted one last photo on Instagram as they drove away from Colonia Liberon. A picture of the desert stretching out endlessly before them, with the caption, Here's to new beginnings and old memories. Hashtag Mexico, hashtag new adventures, hashtag love and freedom. Fans would no doubt be thrilled to see what came next.